For those of you visiting this house for the first time, this is the Haas-Lilienthal house. It was my great-grandparents' house. You're going to see a house that was filled with love and warmth, that had its triumphs, and yes, its tragedies. You will see here the diversity of San Francisco in business, in ethnicity, in a whole variety of elements. What you are about to witness as you walk through this house is not only the history of a family, but the history of a city, and we hope you enjoy it.
The Haas-Lilienthal house is really an artifact of a vanished time. It takes you back to a Gilded Age, a time when there was this incredible upwelling of wealth that helped create San Francisco.
The House Museum is really unique, not only because it's a Victorian interior that's open to the public, but it really provides a look into 19th century San Francisco and what the life of a prominent San Francisco family was like at that time.
William Haas, my great-grandfather, was born in a very small town in Bavaria, Germany in the mid-19th century. He was one of 10 children of a very poor weaver.
Most of the Jews in San Francisco came from a very small region of Bavaria. A number of them were actually called the Reckendorfers because they came from this one village of Reckendorf, which is where William Haas came from.
Where was the most available place in 1848, 1849? San Francisco. Why? Gold. There was gold here.
Gold, gold from the American River. This shout heard round the world. Within a period of 6 months, a year, people from almost every country in the world made urgent plans to get to this El Dorado.
He came to this country at age 16 and settled here in San Francisco. The Jews who came here to California during the gold rush were astonished at the degree of acceptance that they found here. Everybody was struggling together. The Jews were only one of many groups who were able to make it.
For William and Bertha Haas, it was a very lovely life. They had the advantage of all of the cultural aspects of San Francisco, symphony, opera, ballet, but in addition, they were able to build a close circle of friends, primarily German Jews, all of whom really were from the same class.
William and Bertha had 3 children, Florine, Charles, and the third, Alice Haas-Lilienthal, who was the person I and my brother and sister called our grandmother. They were very extensively educated. They were given riding lessons, dance lessons, extra language lessons. It was just considered to be a well-rounded member of society, you needed to have this kind of background.
The house you're about to see is a classic example of San Francisco's multi-ethnic heritage.
Every part of the ethnic community of San Francisco was here. There was a Chinese laundryman, a German cook, a Swedish woman who came in and taught us weaving. In other words, within this house, San Francisco could be felt in all of its dimensions.
We don't know much about the lives of the servants that lived and worked in this house and were a part of the fabric of this house for many generations, for the simple reason, sadly, that we don't know much about the lives of servants through so much of American history because their lives were not deemed worthy of being reported.
The earthquake of 1906, I remember Grammy saying to me that it happened a little after 5 in the morning, woke the whole household.
The earthquake was the least of San Francisco's problems. Gas mains broke and stoves overturned in various people's houses, and that started 3 days worth of fires that ravaged the city. The fires were actually headed toward this house on the 3rd day. What San Francisco authorities did to try to stop the fire, they used dynamite to blow up the mansions on the east side of Van Ness Avenue, the widest street in the city, hoping to form a fire break. Fortunately, they were successful, and the fire stopped within 1 block of this house.
The only damage done to the Haas-Lilienthal house is the crack that you can still see in the wall as you climb the stairs to the second floor.
Basically, 3 generations of the family lived here, as well as grandchildren and other relatives, and I know they celebrated all of their holidays here.
One of the great things about this house is the epicenter of our family, is all of the family events which have taken place here. Weddings, funerals, holiday celebrations.
So essentially, when you walk through the house today, you are seeing basically a palimpsest of what a prosperous San Francisco family from the 1880s, 1890s would have lived in. You can really see a house that was lived in for generations. If you look at old photographs, this street, Franklin Street, Van Ness Avenue, and this whole area were lined with huge Victorian houses. But of course, what happened was the land values continued to grow. People decided to build apartment buildings on the sites of these mansions because they were on big lots. The family lived here until 1972, when Haas-Lilienthal passed away. The family didn't want to see the house demolished and replaced with an apartment building, and they donated the house to San Francisco Heritage in 1973.
Heritage's role in preserving the past is more important than ever today, not only in remembering the past, but preserving the actual physical manifestations of the past.
The Haas-Lilienthal house is a Queen Anne-style house.
San Francisco Heritage has really evolved away from just preserving buildings toward preserving the stories, folklore, and culture of the various ethnic groups that have always lived in the city.
San Francisco is the American story in that immigrants came here and built the city just like they built the United States the way that we see it today. The people that worked here came from all different parts of the world, different cultural backgrounds.
Now, can anybody tell me what this is?
And so the kids on the Heritage Hike tour, they see themselves. They see their grandparents or their ancestors in this house, in this city.
Our goal in preserving this house was to make sure that our heritage is being preserved and protected, so that when you come from the 4 corners of the world, even as they did at the beginning of this city, you will be able to experience the essence of what is San Francisco.